Yo, this is the first video over my Automaton Apparatus strategic trading card game, which I had a lot of fun making. I don't know if it'll ever become, actually, sold anywhere, but it was fun to make at least. I did ask my community on the YouTube channel if, the community tab, if they would rather have it, as parts or as one large video, and they said parts, so this is part 1. Card types, rarities, and setup. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. Card types. Power source is Void, Core Battery, Stamina, Rage, Fighting Spirit. Ultra Power Source, which is its own card, which will be explained in another part. Soldiers, which is the type of soldier and the subtype of either Pilot, Automaton, Tarklak, Gormka, or Inflak. Enhanced Soldiers, which is the type of enhanced soldier and the subtype of either Pilot, Automaton, Tarklak, Gormka, or Inflak, or Apparatus, actually. War Vessels, which is Apparatus and Ship. Weapons, which is the type of weapon and the subtype of Apparatus, Ship, Pilot, Automaton, Tarklak, Gormka, or Inflak. Enhancements, which is Apparatus, Ship, or Automaton. And then Event, which is War, Victory, and Battle Tactics. And now we're on to card rarities. So the rarities are Bronze for common, Iron for uncommon, Gold for rare, Platinum for epic, and Ultra Obsidian for insane, which is just the highest rarity that it can be. On to the next thing, card setup. Card name. The name of the card is located on the top middle of the card. Card costs. Below the name in the right corner there will be symbols. Those symbols are the amount needed to put the card onto the war zone. The symbols will be Void, Core Battery, Stamina, Rage, and Fighting Spirit. On to card health. In the bottom right corner of any card that is a soldier card or becomes a soldier card is a number that is the card's maximum amount of health. When a card is damaged, their health is lowered by the amount of damage dealt to it. The health can only be regained through the abilities of cards unless stated otherwise. On to card type. Card type and subtype, if needed, will be in a small bar directly above the area showing the attacks and abilities. Card attacks. Card attacks are located in the large space in the middle of the card. They will always be above abilities. If there are any, attacks will not always cost power to activate. The power cost, if there is any, will be located to the right of the effect. Each soldier can only use one attack or ability per turn unless stated otherwise. Attacks are the main way soldiers will deal damage to other soldiers and to the general or player. The attacks can target any soldier, but there must be no soldiers in the front lines before any soldiers in the supporting fire section can be targeted unless stated otherwise. Card abilities. Card abilities are located in the large space in the middle. They will always be below attacks separated by a small line. The abilities may be automatically activated just by paying the power needed to activate the card, or activated by a predetermined factor, but for some cards you must pay a cost to activate its ability. If there is a cost, it will be located to the right of the effect. Each soldier can only use one ability or attack per turn unless stated otherwise. Okay, and next we have, part 2. Okay, I'll do a video on part 2, which is Power Source and Ultra Power Source, next time. Subscribe. I know this was a short part, but there's a lot to talk about, but, this is the shortest part to talk about, honestly. But, yeah, I hope you liked the video. I hope you're as interested in this card game as I am. If you want part 2, subscribe, leave a comment. Yeah. See ya. Yo, this is part 2 of my video over the trading card game that I'm creating. If you haven't seen part 1, you should definitely go watch it. It's all about the card types, rarities, and how they're set up. This part is all about the power source and ultra power source cards and how they function. So yeah, let's just jump right into part 2. How power source cards function. Power source cards are used as the main type of payment for anything that is played or activated. The types of power are as follows: Void, Core Battery, Stamina, Rage, and Fighting Spirit. There is also a card type all of its own called Ultra Powers. Each type of power has a symbol and color associated with it. The power will have a number in front of the symbol. This number tells how much of that specific power must be paid to play that card or activate the ability or attack. The power types also have a specific type of play around them, which they stick to pretty closely. The power cards are placed into the power zone until they are used as payment or removed by other means, in which case it is placed into the junkyard unless stated otherwise. There is no limit to the amount of power cards which may be within the power zone, but only 4 ultra power cards may be within the power zone at one time, unless stated otherwise. You may only play 1 power card per turn, unless stated otherwise. Void. Void power can be paid by any form of power. It is the only kind of power that can be paid for by any power. Void power is only able to pay for void power payments, not any other type of power. Void power is a neutral power, making it the most common power by far. Most payments will include at least 1 void power. Core Battery. Core Battery power is almost exclusively used as a power payment for Automaton, Apparatus, and ship types of cards. Core Battery power is oftentimes used in weapons as well, meaning that it is a huge part of playing a war vessel and arming it. Stamina. Stamina is a power that is mostly used for the Pilot, Tarklak, and Gormka types of cards, but will also be used for the Apparatus types of cards to a lesser degree. Stamina is used as a payment for any attacks and abilities that would take a more physically taxing approach. Rage. Rage is a power that is mostly used for the Tarklak, Gormka, and Inflak types of cards, but will also be used for the Apparatus and Pilot types of cards to a lesser degree. Rage is used as a payment for massive attacks that deal huge damage and are extremely expensive in power cost. Fighting Spirit. Fighting Spirit is a power that is mostly used for Apparatus types of cards, but can be used for Tarklak, Gormka, Inflak, and Pilot as well. Fighting Spirit is used to rise up from the depths of defeat. Most abilities or attacks that use Fighting Spirit within its power cost will be very expensive, but give a massive health increase and other boosts to the card that uses it. Ultra Powers, which is its own thing. If a card is an ultra power, it will be shown on the type and subtype section of the card. This type of power is special in many ways because it could have many different effects. While one ultra power may be able to pay for the cost of 1 power with multiple types of power, another may be able to pay for 3 of 1 type of all at once. Example. Would be on a card. This is just an example of what would be on a ultra power card. When card name is used to pay any cost, it pays 4 core battery power. Once card name is placed into the junkyard, you may retrieve an ultra power card that is not named card name from the junkyard and place it into your hand. On to the next thing. Yeah, that's the end of part 2. Yeah, all of the power sources, I'll go back and show you. There's all the power sources and what their little, symbol is gonna look like, or what I'm wanting the symbol to look like, maybe. So yeah, that's everything about the
powers and everything. The only thing I forgot to write down is it should say you may only play one power or ultra power card per turn, unless stated otherwise, which, I mean, obviously, they are the same type of thing. So, yeah, I'll be posting the part 3, which is the soldiers, war vessels, and enhanced soldiers. That might be the longest one. The longest part, actually, because it's just a lot to go over. But, yeah, I hope you're liking these videos, and I hope you are excited about the trading card game. See ya.
Yo, this is part 3 of me explaining all of the rules and everything for my brand new original trading card game. This is part 3, how soldiers, war vessels, and enhanced soldiers function. So yeah, if you haven't watched the other 2 parts or any of the videos that are in the playlist called brand new original trading card game or whatever I have it named now, definitely go check those out, because I'm actually pretty proud of this and super hype about it. So yeah, let's get into part 3. How soldier cards function. A soldier card will oh my god, okay, I'm getting too ahead of myself, sorry about that. A soldier card will have the power cost on the top right corner and the card's maximum health located on the bottom right corner of the card. A soldier card will have a type of soldier and a subtype of either pilot, automaton, tarclac, gormka, or inflac. A soldier card is placed into either the front lines or supporting fire section when played. The front lines can only hold up to 4 soldiers unless stated otherwise, and the supporting fire section can only hold up to 4 soldiers unless stated otherwise. The soldier card can not attack until it has been in the war zone for at least 1 round, unless stated otherwise. The attacks and abilities will be stated in the largest space just below the card's illustration. The attacks will almost always be placed above the abilities. Some abilities may occur passively, triggered by an event, and some may need to be paid with power source to activate. A soldier may only use 1 attack or ability per turn unless stated otherwise. Soldiers within a player's supporting fire section are unable to use an attack, while any other soldiers or boarded war vessels are within their own front lines section unless stated otherwise. Soldiers may use abilities while they are within the supporting fire section, even with other soldiers within the front lines unless stated otherwise. If a soldier is killed or removed from the war zone by any means, it is put into the junkyard unless stated otherwise. I know that's a lot, but for this video, that is basically all I'm going to show, unless I have something else to say about the soldiers. But I am going to make a video after I'm done with all of these parts for these videos and talk about how the game is played, and I'll actually show you me play a game of it and everything. So yeah, let's just go on and head on to the next thing, which is how war vessel cards function. A war vessel card will have the power cost on the top right corner, just like a soldier card. A war vessel is placed into the war vessel zone when it is played. The war vessel zone can hold up to 2 war vessels in the front lines and up to 2 in the supporting fire section unless stated otherwise. A war vessel card will have the card's maximum health located on the bottom right corner of the card. A war vessel card will have a board cost, which shows how many pilots it takes for the war vessel to be activated, and the amount of pilots that can be aboard the war vessel at any given time. This will be located in the space containing the attacks and abilities, and will always be located above the attacks and abilities. There can only be 1 pilot within a war vessel at a time unless stated otherwise. War vessels cannot be attacked if not boarded or activated. War vessels do not count as soldiers until activated. War vessels can only be boarded by the pilot type unless it is stated otherwise. While the driving character or characters are within the war vessel, their abilities and weapons cannot activate. Yeah, their attacks, abilities, and weapons and all that cannot activate. While the driving character is aboard the war vessel, while the driving character is aboard the war vessel, the driving character and the war vessel share the same space within the war zone. The war vessel can only activate its abilities once the correct amount of characters are within it, if the correct amount isn't just one. A war vessel does not become a soldier until it is boarding. Its boarding requirements are met. Once activated, a war vessel acts exactly as a soldier card would until it is unboarded, in which case it will become a non-soldier war vessel once again. If a war vessel is destroyed, any driving character within it are destroyed. A driving character can exit a war vessel on the owner's turn for the same amount used to board the character, unless another card says otherwise. If there are no spaces free within the front lines or supporting fire section, the unboarded soldier is sent to the junkyard. Once the driving character has exited the war vessel, they return to being a normal non-driving card. And if there are free spaces whenever they unboard on your turn, obviously they go to whatever space you want them to go to if it's free. Moving on to board. Boarding a war vessel card costs power and puts the driving character into the war vessel, making their own abilities unusable. While within a war vessel, the driving character cannot use their own abilities or be directly attacked by others' abilities. So the war vessel must instead be attacked directly. And then eject. Ejecting allows characters to driving a war vessel to exit the war vessel as it is destroyed and avoid being killed alongside the war vessel. Only certain cards will have an eject cost on them. Those are the only cards able to eject unless another card says otherwise. If there are no spaces free within the front lines or supporting fire section, the ejected character is sent to the junkyard. So it's just like unboarding on your turn, except it's at any time. Like even whenever it's being attacked and about to die, you can just pay the eject cost and get out. Just so that that one doesn't die. How enhanced soldier cards function. An enhanced soldier card follows the same template and functions as a normal soldier card, with minor differences. Its energy, attack, and ability cost will be higher than a normal soldier's, and its health and attack damage will be much higher as well. They'll have a type of enhanced soldier and a subtype of either pilot, automaton, Tarklak, Gormka, Inflek, or Apparatus. An enhanced soldier Apparatus does not have the need to be boarded to be activated and acts as any other enhanced soldier. An enhanced soldier type is the only type that can be placed into the General's Quarters while playing a game in the General's War game mode. An enhanced soldier can be attached with weapons and fused with enhancements even while within the General's Quarters, as long as it meets the requirements, unless stated otherwise. While playing the General's War game mode, the enhanced soldier within the General's Quarters may not be moved from the General's Quarters. The enhanced soldier within the General's Quarters is completely immune to all opponents' event cards. And then that's it for part 3. Part 4, we're going to go over how events, weapons, and enhancements function. That's going to be another longer one. And then the last one will be the actual phases of the game and the actual board and everything. So, I mean, we're getting really close to being done. There's only one more part after part 4. So, yeah, I hope you're enjoying all of this. I'm super hype about it. I have a whole bunch of cards written up and everything. I'm ready to make this an actual thing if I ever can, because oh my god, I'm excited. Automaton Apparatus is one of my favorite things that I've made. I mean, the Into the Void book that I wrote and the entire universe that I'm building with that is really fun too, but Automaton Apparatus is my favorite, and this is a completely different timeline than the original one that I have videos for already. I'm I feel like no one else is excited as I am, which, I mean, fair enough. It's just crudely drawn mechs, basically, the way I'm doing it right now. But soon, hopefully soon, I'll be able to make it a big, like, comic book or something. I don't know. I should just make a video just spouting nonsense about everything that I'm excited about. But, yeah, I'm super excited about this, and I hope you guys are too. If you want to see me make some of the cards that I already have written down and everything, like, subscribe, comment, all of that stuff so that I know people actually want it. And, yeah, I already have Automaton 546 made into a card, and yes, he is still around in this new timeline because that's the one constant between all of the Automaton Apparatus timelines. But you know what? This video is already like 10 minutes long, so yeah, like, subscribe, comment. Please tell me you want to see me make these cards because I'm super excited about it. But yeah, see. Yo, new video over my original trading card game that I'll be doing something with. This is part 4. If you haven't seen part 1, 2, 3, or 4, or, well, obviously you haven't seen 4, but if you haven't seen any of the other parts, you should go watch them. It shows off all the rules and how the cards look and act and everything. This video is part 4, like I said, and it will be going over how the event weapons and enhancement cards function. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump right on into it. Going on to event cards. The event cards are a type of event and a subtype of either war, victory, or battle tactic. The war card is a card, they will have the power cost on the top right corner. A war card can only be played on the turn of the one who plays it. The war card has an effect that automatically takes place once it is played. It is placed into the junkyard upon use. Example, card name, deals 100 damage to target soldier located on the front lines. And that's basically it. They'll all have different and really different effects and everything. On to victory cards. A victory card will have the power cost on the top right corner. A victory card can be played at any time. The victory card will have an effect that automatically takes place once it is placed. It is placed into the junkyard upon use. Example, when card name is activated, target a soldier. The targeted soldier takes no damage this turn. So basically, war cards, you place them down, they do their effect, and then they go straight to the junkyard. Victory cards, and war cards can only be played on your turn, and victory cards can do the same thing and can only be played on, or can be played on any turn. I know I'm shuffling my words and everything. War cards, only played on your turn. And their effect goes, and then they're sent to the junkyard. Victory cards, played at any time, their effect takes place, and then they're placed into the junkyard. That took a while, but I had my words mixed up and everything. Battle tactics. A battle tactic card will have the power cost on the top right corner. When a battle tactic card is played, it is put into the tactics section. The tactics section can only hold 4 cards unless stated otherwise. A battle tactic can only be played during the owner's turn. A battle tactic stays on the tactics section until it is removed by some means. A battle tactic has abilities of all kinds, ones that automatically occur, ones that must be paid with power to activate, and ones that are triggered by something else occurring. Example, when an opponent uses power as a payment for a war vessel card, card name activates. When card name activates, you may search your deck for 1 power. So yeah, it should say 1 normal power because there's the normal power source and there's ultra power source, but anytime you see just 1 power, it means regular power. And then if you see ultra power, it means ultra power. But yeah. How weapon cards function. Weapon cards will have the power cost on the top right corner. When a weapon card is played, it is put into the armory until it is attached to a card. The armory can only hold 4 cards unless stated otherwise. If a weapon card is taken off of the card it is attached to by any means, it is put into the armory. But if the armory is full, it is instead sent to the junkyard. The weapon card will have an attach fee located above the abilities. The weapon card will tell if there are any restrictions to which card it can be attached to. Within the typing, it will have a type of weapon and a subtype of either pilot, automaton, gormcaw, tarclac, inflac, apparatus, or ship. Each subtype shows which cards it can be attached to. The subtypes shown are the only cards it can be attached to. Attaching a weapon card to another card will make it belong to the attached card only. A weapon card can be unattached during the owner's turn by paying the attach fee. There can only be 2 weapon cards attached to any card at one time, unless stated otherwise. I know that was a lot, so here's a kind of shortened version. I'll go ahead and try and tell you a shortened version. So basically, you pay the cost, and it goes onto the field, and then it goes into the armory, and then it has an attach fee, and you have to pay the attach fee to actually attach it to something. Once it's on it, it belongs to that, and only that, and that card gets the effects, or unless the effects affect everything, but I mean, that'll be stated on the card, and then if you want it to be off of it, you just you pay the attach fee once again, and put it into the armory. If the armory is full, it goes to the junkyard. And if the soldier that it is placed onto dies, it also goes to the armory or to the junkyard if it's full. That's basically it. How enhancement cards function. Enhancement cards will have the power cost on the top right corner. Enhancement cards will state on the card if there is an extra cost to fusing an enhancement onto a card. The extra payment will oftentimes be sacrificing an automaton, apparatus, or ship to the smelter. Enhancement cards are attached directly onto the card it is fused to when played. An enhancement card will state the ability that is given to the card it is fused to within the large blank space below the picture. The enhancement card will tell if there are any restrictions to which cards it can be attached to within the typing. It will have a type of enhancement, and then a subtype of either automaton, apparatus, or ship. Each subtype shows which cards it can be attached to. The subtypes shown are the only cards it can be fused to. Attaching an enhancement card to another card will make it belong to the attached card only. If the card the enhancement is fused to is killed, the enhancement is placed directly into the junkyard. If the enhancement is removed by any means, it is sent directly to the junkyard. An enhancement card cannot be removed by any means except the effects of other cards. There can only be 1 enhancement card attached to each individual card at one time, unless stated otherwise. Okay, so you pay the cost to put it out, and then if there's an extra cost, like sacrificing something, you have to sacrifice it, and then you can place it on wherever you want. And it goes directly to the graveyard. There's no place to put it, like with the weapons. So, I mean, yeah, it just goes directly to the graveyard. No armory or anything for it. Unless the card states it's otherwise. I am working on a card that'll say that they can be placed into the armory as well, without making it to where it can hold more. I don't know. I'm workshopping cards right now, so I mean, yeah. That was it. Part 5 will go over Warzone setup, game phases, and game modes, and that'll be the last part. So, yeah, like I said, if you haven't watched part 1, 2, and 3, I don't know why you watched this. I told you not to, but it's fine. Whatever. I'm not gonna be angry or anything. But yeah, if you haven't watched the other parts, please go watch it. Comment, like, subscribe, all of that YouTube stuff. Yeah. Have a good day, and see ya whenever I talk about the next part, or whatever video I do next. See ya. Yo, welcome to part 5 of my videos over the rules, card setup, and everything else about my new original trading card game that I created. This is part 5, Warzone setup, game phases, and game modes. So yeah, if you haven't seen part 1, 2, 3, or 4, you should definitely go head over onto my channel and watch those, unless you just don't feel like it and you just feel like watching this. I mean, hey, as long as you watch it, I don't care. But yeah. If you want to learn everything about it, definitely go watch those and then come back to this one. Yeah, so let's just jump into it. Warzone setup. Warzone. The Warzone is the word used to refer to the front lines supporting fire sections and war vessel zones collectively. Front lines. The front-facing area closest to your opponent and furthest away from you. This is one of the 2 areas in which soldiers are placed. The player may choose to put the soldiers on either as long as it meets the requirements. The front lines can only hold up to 4 soldiers unless stated otherwise. There must be no soldiers within the front lines before the soldiers within the supporting fire section can be targeted by attacks or abilities unless stated otherwise. Supporting fire. The middle area in between the front lines, the power zone, and the armory and tactics section. This is one of the 2 areas in which soldiers are placed. The player may choose to put the soldier on either as long as it meets the requirements. The supporting fire can only hold up to 4 soldiers unless stated otherwise. There must be no soldiers within the supporting fire section before a player or players general may be targeted by attacks or abilities unless stated otherwise. War Vessel Zone. An area for 2 war vessel cards to the left of the frontline section and an area for 2 war vessels to the right of the supporting fire section. The player may choose which position to place the war vessel as long as it meets the requirements. Only 2 war vessels may be placed within the front lines war vessel zone, and only 2 war vessels may be placed within the supporting fire section war vessel zone unless stated otherwise. Armory. Area behind the supporting fire section and in front of the tactics section, power zone, junkyard, and smelter. When a weapon card is played, it is put into the armory until it is attached to a card. The armory can only hold 4 cards, unless stated otherwise. If a weapon card is taken off of the card it is attached to by any means, it is put into the armory. But if the armory is full, it is instead sent to the junkyard. Tactics section. The area in front of the power zone and in front of the armory. When a battle tactic card is played, it is put into the tactics section. The tactics section can only hold 4 cards. Unless stated otherwise, a battle tactic can only be played during the owner's turn. A battle tactic stays on the tactics section until it is removed by some means. Power zone. The area behind the tactics section and closest to the player and furthest away from the opponent. The power zone is where power cards are placed into the power zone until they are used as payment or removed by other means, in which case it is placed into the junkyard unless stated otherwise. There is no limit to the amount of power cards which may be within the power zone, but only 4 ultra power cards may be within the power zone at one time unless stated otherwise. You may only play 1 power card per turn unless stated otherwise. Junkyard, the area to the left of the power zone, where dead or discarded cards are placed. The cards within the junkyard can be returned to the Warzone hand or deck with the abilities of some cards. Cards within the junkyard are still in the game, but off of the Warzone. Smelter. The smelter... the area to the left of the junkyard where cards sent to the smelter are placed. The cards within the smelter are outside of the game and cannot be returned by any means. General's Quarters. The space directly behind the power zone in which an enhanced soldier is placed in the General's War game mode. The General's Quarters is not used outside of the General's War game mode. Okay, that was a lot to go over, so here's a picture of what the whole board looks like. There's the War Vessel Zone frontline, the regular frontline, supporting fire, Armory, Tactics section. There's the War Vessel Zone for the supporting fire section, Tactics section, Power Zone, and then Junkyard and Smelter are right beside those two. That was a lot to go through, so if you want to go back and read it, you can. But here's the picture of it for the regular game mode, which I will be going over the game modes very soon in this video. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. Game phases. Draw. You draw a card. At the beginning of each turn, the player draws one card from the top of the deck. All players have a maximum hand size of 5 unless stated otherwise. The opponent may use a victory card during this phase unless stated otherwise. Power source. Play a power source or ultra power source, 1 per turn unless stated otherwise. After the draw phase comes the power source phase, in which the player places a power source card into the power zone. The power zone may hold any amount of power source cards, but it may hold a maximum of 4 ultra power cards. The player may only place 1 power source or ultra power card per turn unless stated otherwise. No power source cards may be placed after the initial power source phase unless stated otherwise. The opponent may use a victory card during this phase unless stated otherwise. There's one thing that all of these phases have in common. The opponent may use victory cards because they're able to be used at any time, even on an opponent's turn. So I'm just going to go ahead and try and avoid saying that so that it's not that repetitive. But yeah. Place section. Play soldier, war vessel, war, victory, battle tactic, weapon, or enhancement card. After the power source phase comes the place phase. During the place phase, the player pays to play any cards. The place phase allows for use of any card type except power source unless stated otherwise, as long as there is a sufficient amount of power source to pay the costs and it meets all requirements needed. Board. Board soldiers onto war vessels if able, unboard any unwanted soldiers if able. The board phase is after the place phase. The board phase allows the player to board any soldiers onto war vessels that are currently unboarded or have too few pilots to be activated and to unboard soldiers from unnecessary war vessels. Moving on, battle/damage, activate attacks or abilities and choose targets for each. Each action made during the battle phase is then completed. The battle phase is when all soldiers, enhanced soldiers, and boarded war vessels may attack or use one ability. So either they either attack once or use one ability. You can't attack and then use an ability. It's just one or the other. No soldiers may use an attack while any other soldiers are boarded. No soldiers or boarded war vessels within a player's supporting fire section may use an attack while any other soldiers or boarded war vessels are within their own front line section, unless stated otherwise. Sorry about that. I spoke wrong and read it wrong, but yeah. Soldiers and boarded war vessels may use abilities while they are within the supporting fire section, even with other soldiers within the frontline section, unless stated otherwise. Each action made during the battle phase is then completed and occurs. Secondary place. Play a soldier, war vessel, or victory, battle tactic, weapon, or enhancement card. Place a power source card if one was not yet placed during the turn unless stated otherwise. This is the final place phase, allowing the player to place any card type playable during the initial place phase unless stated otherwise. The opponent may use a victory card during this place phase, unless stated otherwise. And then end. Turn is ended. The opponent's turn now begins. The turn is ended, and it is now the opponent's turn. And then, yeah, they can use victory cards during that. So, yeah, I know that was a lot, but I think I went over it good enough. Even if I didn't, I'll do a longer video after I, workshop this a little bit more and get everything fine-tuned and perfect. And I'm currently working on making new cards and everything for it, too. So, I mean, that'll definitely help me understand more about what I need to change for the rules. But, yeah, let's just go ahead and move on and talk about the rest of this stuff. Okay, time to talk about the game modes. General's War. In this game mode, you place an Enhanced Soldier card onto the General's quarters. The Enhanced Soldier acts as any other soldier. Once the Enhanced Soldier is killed, the game is won by the individual who was able to defeat the enemy's Enhanced Soldier. Just as in the rules, the Enhanced Soldier cannot be attacked if there are any soldiers within the front lines or the supporting fire section, and the Enhanced Soldier within the General's quarters is completely immune to all opponents' event cards and abilities. This makes the goal of defeating the Enhanced Soldier a daunting task. So yeah, that's General's War, which is one of the two main game modes that I've come up with. And then Enemy Brawl, which is, in this game mode, the General's quarters are not used. The players themselves are the enemy. Each player begins the game with 50,000 life. Once the player is killed, the game is won by the individual who was able to defeat the enemy. Just as in the rules, the player cannot be attacked if there are any soldiers within the front lines or the supporting fire section, which makes the enemy much more difficult to kill. And then there you go. Front line, supporting fire, armory. I mean, it's the same exact board, except the general's quarters had been added. This is what the board will look like if you play the general's quarters, or the general's war game mode. But yeah, that's it. I hope you've liked all of these videos about the trading card game. I don't know if this video gets 5 views and 5 likes. I don't know, at least 5 views and at least 5 likes. I'll make a video talking about all the cards I've made. But yeah, I hope you've all liked this so far. Coming up with this game is really fun, and I think it would be really fun to actually get it made and start playing it. But yeah, if you want more videos about it, even though all the parts of how the game works is done, tell me. Thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe. See ya.